It's 11:47 on a Tuesday night. You're lying in bed, scrolling. One more video, one more post, one more minute. A few moments ago, you told yourself the same thing you told yourself yesterday. Tomorrow will be different. Tomorrow I'll start. Tomorrow I'll focus. Tomorrow I'll finally get my life together. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Tomorrow is one of the most dangerous words in the English language. Because tomorrow has a strange habit. It keeps moving. And while it moves, something else disappears. Your life. Here's a number that should make you pause. The average human life lasts about 30,000 days. That's it, 30,000. If you're 30 years old, you've already spent around 11,000 of them. Gone, never coming back. But that isn't the scary part. The scary part is this. Most of those days have already been deleted. Not lost, deleted. And the person holding the delete button was you. Because your brain has a secret. It doesn't measure your life in hours. It measures your life in memories. And once you understand how that works, you'll never look at time the same way again. Think back to when you were 8 years old. Summer felt endless. One afternoon could contain an entire adventure. A school year felt like a lifetime. Now think about last year. Seriously, try to remember it. Most people can't. The months blur together. January becomes March, March becomes September, and somehow Christmas appears out of nowhere. What happened? Most people think life speeds up because they're getting older. That's only half true. The real reason is stranger. Your brain doesn't store time. It stores change. And modern life has become exceptionally good at removing change. Most days now arrive pre-packaged. The same apps, the same feeds, the same recommendations, the same opinions. We consume endless novelty without actually experiencing anything new. And somehow our brains know the difference. When you're a child, everything is new. First bike, first best friend, first broken heart, first sleepover, first trip, first victory, first failure. Your brain records everything. High resolution, full detail. But adulthood changes the equation. The first apartment becomes apartment number 5. The first job becomes another meeting. The first relationship becomes routine. The first adventure becomes the commute. And your brain starts making a brutal decision. Nothing new here, no need to save this. So it doesn't. And that's where the theft begins. Because your life isn't getting shorter, your memories are getting smaller. But it gets worse, because your brain isn't just deleting the past, it's actively compressing the present. Psychologists discovered something weird. The journey home feels shorter than the journey there. Same distance, same road, same traffic, but somehow shorter. Why? Because on the way out, your brain is paying attention. On the way back, it already knows what's coming. So it stops recording. Now zoom out. What if your entire life becomes the return trip? Wake up, coffee, work, dinner, Netflix, sleep. Repeat, 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 repeat. The strange thing is that modern technology makes this feel productive. Every swipe feels like movement. Every notification feels like significance. Every new piece of information feels like progress. But movement is not progress, and stimulation is not experience. At first, routines feel comforting. Then they become invisible, and invisible things don't get remembered. Think about 3 random Tuesdays from 2 years ago. You can't. They're gone. Not because they didn't happen, because nothing happened worth saving. And this creates one of the cruelest paradoxes in modern life. Routine feels safe. But too much routine quietly erases your existence, which explains another mystery: vacations. Why do 7 days abroad feel bigger than 3 months at home? The vacation seems to fly by. 1 week, gone. Yet when you come home, it feels enormous, almost unreal, like you've been away forever. The reason is simple. Novelty. New streets, new food, new conversations, new mistakes, new stories. Your brain suddenly wakes up and starts recording again. The camera turns back on. And that's when a shocking realization appears. The richness of your life has almost nothing to do with the amount of time you have. It has everything to do with how much your brain decides to save. A year full of firsts can feel longer than 5 years of repetition. Read that again. A single year can contain more life than 5. And once you understand that, the goal changes. You stop trying to live longer. You start trying to live deeper. But there is one thing that records memories even faster than novelty: fear. People who survive car accidents often say the same thing. Everything slowed down. Every sound, every movement, every second. Researchers discovered why. When your brain believes something matters, it records everything. Fear forces attention. Attention creates memory. Memory creates the illusion of longer time. Now imagine using that mechanism without the trauma. Imagine deliberately creating moments that demand your attention. Learning a language, starting a business, taking a risk, traveling alone, having the difficult conversation, doing the thing you've been postponing. Those moments feel uncomfortable, but discomfort leaves fingerprints on memory. Comfort rarely does. And that brings us to a Roman philosopher who figured this out 2,000 years ago. People in ancient Rome complained that life was too short. Seneca disagreed, violently. He argued that life isn't short. We make it short. We surrender it to distractions, to busyness, to endless preparation, to waiting, to someday. Someday I'll travel. Someday I'll write. Someday I'll start. Someday I'll become who I want to be. But someday is a lie, because someday feels like a plan when it's actually a postponement with good marketing. And while you're planning the future, the present keeps disappearing, one ordinary evening at a time, one scroll at a time, one delay at a time, until one day you look back and realize you were always preparing to live, but rarely living. And that's where most people stop. Diagnosis: no cure. But there is a cure, and it's surprisingly simple. First, shrink the list. Write down everything you want, every dream, every goal, every ambition. Now circle the 3 that matter most. Only 3. Everything else becomes the enemy, because every unnecessary commitment steals hours from what matters. Second, feed the camera. Your brain saves what is new, difficult, or emotional. So deliberately create those experiences. Take the unfamiliar route. Learn something that makes you feel stupid. Talk to strangers. Travel somewhere uncomfortable. Become a beginner again. Childhood wasn't magical because you were young. It was magical because everything was new. Third, invest in people. Researchers discovered something fascinating. People who give time away often feel like they have more of it, not less, more. The richest people aren't always the people with the most money. They're the people with what psychologists call time affluence, the feeling that there is enough time. And almost every source of that feeling comes from relationships, not possessions, not status, not followers. People. Finally, run the deathbed test every week. Imagine you're 90 years old, looking back. What survives? The extra email? The extra meeting? The extra hour scrolling? Or the dinner with someone you love? The walk? The conversation? The risk? The memory? The answer is usually obvious. We just don't live like it is. There is one final trick your brain plays on you. When you're young, the future feels infinite. You assume there will always be another summer, another opportunity, another conversation, another chance to begin. Psychologists call this temporal discounting. Your brain treats future time as less valuable than present comfort. That's why scrolling wins against reading. That's why convenience wins against growth. That's why tomorrow keeps defeating today. The problem isn't that you're lazy. The problem is that your brain was never designed to understand scarcity, especially the scarcity of life itself. Somewhere deep down, you keep acting as if more tomorrows are guaranteed, but none of us have ever received that promise. And once you truly understand that, the ordinary Tuesday becomes far more valuable than the imaginary future you've been waiting for. Tomorrow night, it will be 11:47 again, and you'll probably be in bed. The same phone, the same room, the same choice. The difference is that now you know something most people never realize. Your life is not measured by the number of days you get. It's measured by the number of days you actually keep. Because time isn't what passes. Time is what remains. Your habits become your days. Your days become your years. Your years become your life. 30,000 days was always the deal. That number won't change. But what fits inside those days can. So maybe the goal was never to get more time. Maybe the goal was simply to stop deleting the time you already have. And maybe the sentence finally changes. Not, tomorrow things will be different, but tonight they already are. Life is short. Starting now, yours gets longer.